Deputy Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Ahmed Jinapo, joins us on the line for a conversation on the back of this. Now, good evening to you, sir, and welcome to this night. What is informing this latest quota system being implemented?
Well, first of all, let me say good evening to cherished viewers. But I think I wouldn't say it is a latest culture. It has always been within the spectrum of the regulatory framework, in the sense that the colleges of education, just as the technical universities and the universities that we have in this country, will always have to submit themselves to more or less what we refer to as academic audits. Academic audits manifesting in the infrastructure capacity of each institution in terms of how many students will be enrolled, vis-a-vis the number of lecturers they have, the classrooms, the dormitories, and not dormitories, so to speak, the hostels and all those things. So when I hear, excuse me to say, people saying that we are introducing the quota system, that is not the case. In fact, it is instructive to note that as far back as 2017, under the NCTA, that the National Council for Tertiary Education, used to prescribe how many students you need to be admitted. But what they did at those times was that they never gave specific figures. But we realized that those fiat, so to speak, were being abused. So this time, we were very, very specific about the number of students that needs to be admitted. But at the end of the day, all what we are saying is that we need to look at the student-lecture ratio. We need to look at the number of laboratories that the institutions have. We need to look at the library facilities. We need to look at the hostel facilities. We need to look at the lecture rooms. So I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, by the data that we have as a commission, there's nothing like a quota system. We are just trying to ensure that effective teaching and learning is ensured.
And Nooks believe that something could be done about it, and 50% isn't right. What do you make of that, and how do you clarify this?
No, hold on. Which are we speaking to? Are we speaking to the fee increment, or we are looking at the colleges of education? Because I think I missed
the fee increment, please.
Oh, the fee increment. Okay, then my apologies. So the fee increment is a very straightforward issue. Straightforward issue in the sense that as a country, we are regulated by laws. And in terms of its regulation when it comes to the laws, there are different facets of the architecture when it comes to who does what and who enforces what. But where we are, by Act 1080, which is the Fees and Charges Act 2022, Parliament, in its wisdom, informed by all the ingredients that goes to the cost of living, the standard of living, the inflation, decided that there needs to be a 15% increment. That is the decision of Parliament. GTEC doesn't make that decision. So if Parliament has decided that it should be 15%, it's what it is. In fact, my brother, it will interest you to know that as a commission, in terms of our fees,
Prof, I'm listening to you, please. All right, Professor Ahmed Jinapo is speaking to us on the back of 15% threshold that is being paid by students, and according to the NUC's president, it's a bit of a worry. Needs to be looked at. We'll go back to that later, but let's just stay a bit more on issues of education, where Executive Director of Institute of Education Studies, Dr. Peter Anti, says the government has reintroduced quota system of admission at College of Education to reduce expenditure on payment of teacher training allowances. He has been speaking to Metro News.
Normally, some of these things are allowed. Managers for education have the liberty to suggest, propose policies and suggest solutions that they think that can be used to address challenges. But then the premium is given to those who run the institutions. So we know the position of Prinkoff, and Prinkoff technically have been complaining about how they are struggling to feed these students and so on and so forth. And therefore they have suggested a way out of this challenge. And government thinks that no, they will continue to feed them. Now, in feeding them, they need to get the needed money to do that. And for them to do that, they need to budget for a specific number of students. And that is why, although admissions have been given out, GTech is now asking Prinkoff to go back and revise the number of students that they are admitting so that it will fall in line with the payment of the student allowances. And that was clear in their letter. I'm told that they are back to talk about infrastructure. But how can those who run the colleges be so certain about the number of students they are admitting for an external body to come and tell them that you cannot admit this number because you have infrastructure challenges? It beats my imagination, and that is basically because governments do not want to back down on that particular policy of payment of allowances. And whatever they would do to enable them pay that allowance, that is what they are doing. It's so sad and unfortunate.